Usually, the best way to approach someone, regardless of their position, is What's up, guys? One of the main questions I get from people is how do I approach different people on the street? I figured I'd make a quick video to explain a few things about that. It helps to kind of like start with yourself. You know, the way you approach somebody is going to be a big part of it, but also reading people. It's good to know who not to approach as well. And one thing to help with this would be posture. You wouldn't want to approach someone who is hunched over with a hood on, walking back and forth on a street periodically looking in windows, you know, or with a hood on. I wish it wasn't this way, but you know, I think I'll even admit that whenever I see someone with a hood, you know, you're gonna keep a little more of an eye on them than other people around you. It is what it is. I kind of wish it wasn't that way, because I personally I feel like I look like a Jedi if I put a hood on, you know. Point is, whenever you see someone in more of a slouched position, there's a couple of things that can be going on. It's like they're in a little bit more of a depressed state. This is also kind of a sign of protection, kind of like a fight. If you're in a fight, they call this, like, I've heard people refer to this as turtling. So you're in a position that is protecting like your vital organs, right? So depending on where you are. So in body language, if I'm afraid of somebody I'm talking to, I may just kind of shows that they don't like a person, or they're going to be turned away. They're going to be kind of have some sort of barrier. And in fact, when people are sitting next to each other and they're crossing their legs, if the person's here and my legs are open to them, I'll be sitting like this. That's more open. This is more of a barrier, kind of indicating that I'm not so sure about that person. So what I'm getting at is, this is a good way to kind of tell who's in more of a depressed state versus more of a confident state. It's not that you want to approach someone who's more confident or someone who's more depressed. It's more about how you would approach that person. You know, it depends on what you're looking for, who you're looking for. You know, it's pretty well known. In fact, I have a really good story about this. When I was working in New York, I think this is in around 2014, I was biking a lot, but I was also working for someone. What happened is, like, I was retouching like 12 hours a day. We were on like a tight deadline. So I had to work these 12-hour days for a while. And next thing you know, I think it was a combination of like doing all this retouching and having a bike. I'm not sure the bike was aligned perfectly, you know? So I developed this really bad carpal tunnel. I couldn't shake anybody. I could barely shake someone's hand. And I met this guy on the street in New York. He goes to shake my hand, and I was like, sorry man, I hurt my hand. And he just looked at me and he was like, what's wrong? And I said, you know, I hurt my hand from, you know, I've been retouching. I just got like this carpal tunnel. And he said, I can tell you exactly what's wrong with you. And I was like, what? He said, pull your shoulders back. And I was like, okay. He's like, pull your arms back, almost like a gunslinger. And I was like, all right. And then he told me that I needed to align my hips on top of my feet. And just from doing this and being conscious of just these few things, in fact, one of them was pulling the head back. So he said, pull the shoulders back, put your hands back like a gunslinger, pull your head back, align your hips right on top of your feet. Just by doing those things and being conscious of it, within 3 days, my pain went away. What happens is, when we are in these different positions, especially this one, this is going to be more related to a depressive state, to a fight or flight mechanisms are going on in your body. You know, when your shoulders are back and your arms are back, you have more serotonin, you're going to be more positive. It's also a sign of confidence. And most people know this, but sometimes we can pay attention to those things, and you can kind of figure out what kind of state or how you would approach the person on the street. It's not about just reading them, it's also about yourself. So you're gonna be a more confident person if you hold yourself properly, if you keep that good posture, your shoulders back, head back, whatnot. So I was kind of amazed when that guy told me that. After thinking about it for a while, I realized that's like super common for our day and age, because we're all like this all the time, head forward, shoulders forward. And I obviously at the time, I guess, I must have been in that position a lot, and I didn't even realize it. Like, he saw it just from looking at me, from talking to me. He was like a yoga teacher or something. The reason I'm bringing this up is because if you approach somebody and you're in a depressed state, most people don't even realize it, but we know, or they'll sense that you're not a confident person, that you're not in the right state, you're not very confident. When people can see that or sense that, they're most likely going to tell you no if you wanted to approach someone on the street and photograph them or whatever you might be approaching them for. If you approach them with confidence, they're more likely to say yes. What is happening when we're in those positions, it's creating what are like kinks in the hose of your nervous system and of your circulatory system. So what's happening is your body is actually having to work harder to pump, to circulate your blood, and it's also kinks in the hose to your nervous system. So you're not getting like the proper flow into those different parts of your body. So usually someone in this position is up to no good or feeling depressed, and someone who is in more of a confident position, you could probably guess what kind of reaction you would get. If I were to approach somebody with this hunched posture, and I asked them if I could do a photo of them, or if I wanted to talk to them or anything, they're most likely to not even say anything and shake their head and walk off. Whereas if you saw someone walking confidently on the street and you said, "Hey man, do you mind if I take a photo of you?" they will most likely just straight up say no, or they'll say, "Absolutely man, let's do it." So if you see someone that's more in that depressed or fear-based state, you can approach them more cautiously and nice and in a very calm manner. Whereas someone that's a little more confident, you can approach them however you want, really. But either way, usually the best way to approach someone, regardless of their position, is playfulness. Just keep it playful. That's my best advice to anyone. Playful enthusiasm. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell, all those things, and let me know what you think in the comments. Let's chat it out in the comments. Let me know what else you would like to hear in the future, and we will talk again soon. Thanks, guys.